Okay, so time for the initial sculpt. What we're going to do is start with a standard ZBrush sphere. I'm just going to draw this out onto our canvas. Hit T to go into edit mode, and then hit X so we have symmetry on. And with the standard brush, you can see it's going to ask us it needs to be a polymesh. So we first of all make it into a polymesh, gives it a new name, which is giving it a new name in there on the tool, as you can see. It's got PM3D, which gives you an idea that it is a polymesh. And we hit X again because we need to work on this, and you can see we start working away on this sphere. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately go into the Dynamesh tools. I want to do the sculpting in Dynamesh. But what I want to do is first go down here into deformation, and I'm just going to size up the sphere, because when you're working with Dynamesh, the resolution of the Dynamesh is relative to the size of the object. So the smaller the object, the higher the resolution rate you have to go to, and it only goes up to 1024 resolution. So we're just gonna bring this up a little bit. So we're just gonna go down to size and hit the size button twice, maybe 3 times, and then we're just going to frame this up. And then I'm going to come back to the Dynamesh, and I'm just going to hit the Dynamesh tool, and it's going to work out my Dynamesh. It's going to adjust the mesh for me, and we're done. So we've got a Dynamesh now, and the Dynamesh has, as you can see, it's taken on a lot of what was going on with the faceting that was coming from the polygons that were underneath. So we will be smoothing those out. So let's start with just some simple shapes on here, so we can start to get the size. So let's get the size right first. So I'm going to use the move tool, sorry, the move brush, not a tool, the brush. So just come up and hit M, and we're going to hit move. I'm going to hold down the space bar and just dial up the size a little bit, and we're just going to just start to shape the mesh, the sphere of the mesh, just a little bit to start getting an idea of where we want the character's features to go. Okay, so I want to bring that in here. Now, as we are working within ZBrush, there are some pre-built objects that will help us a little bit as we're working. They're very, very useful things, I find. We can access them through subtools. So if I just go to the light box and have a look at the light box, you see we've got lots of these things in here. But if we go to the tool setting in here, we have a skeleton, which is quite useful. There is actually a skull, I believe, somewhere down here. Let's just bring in the skeleton. We open this one up. You see we have an anatomy figure. If we go to the subtools of the anatomy figure, you can see that we have lots of things in here. So if we just zoom in, we have all the muscle structures and everything else, but we can start to delete some of these layers. So we can just hit delete, just go OK, delete. I'm going to just hit OK on this, so we can just go through this quickly. Just going to delete all these subtool layers. We don't need you. We just want the skeleton. Just give us the skeleton. That's all we're asking for. There we go. Just the skeleton. So what I want to do is I want to bring this skeleton in to, let's just see if this skeleton is actually a subtool. Let's see. Turn on polyframe, and as you can see it's not been identified, so let's just identify it as a separate mesh. So I'm just going to keep this bit here, and I'm just going to tell it to delete hidden. So underneath the geometry tab, I'm just going to tell it that I want to delete hidden. There we go. That'll do, and we can bring that back. So if we go back to our sphere our polysphere that we had. This one here, as you see, a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is just turn off the poly frame, and I'm going to append, insert the Kingsley head into there, and I'm going to turn on the transparency so we can see these. So there we go. You see how small the head is? So what we want to do is scale that head up. So let's go down to deformation and size that up again. And do it a couple of times. One more time. Okay, and this has obviously been moved, so we need to bring this back down. Turn off. And let's size that up again. Let's get this about the right size. Perfect. Maybe just gonna move this into a better position here. Make sure we're fairly centered. There we go. Okay, so I'm ready to begin now proper sculpting. So I can go back to the draw mode, and I can go in and switch to this tool. There we go, and we can just see, because we've got transparency on, we can see the other one underneath. Brilliant. Okay, so we can really start to manipulate this into place. We've got the move tool. Let's bring mirroring back on for this. Let's go around here. Let's just scale these in. Gives us something better to work with. You can see that's not quite in the right position. There we're better. So we can just start pushing in bits. I don't want to go too technical on this, but at least this will give us or give me a much better base shape to begin with. Okay, so I'm going to use the standard tool, standard brush. So we got the brush, we'll go for the standard brush. I'm just going to begin to make some indentations in here, just so I can see where I'm going to go with this. There we go, and we're going to pull out the nose. Go this way. We have a cheekbone. Then we have the plane for the mouth. I'll just turn off transparency so we can see this, and let's just isolate that one. So we can begin to shape up this, and I always like to use the clay bulk tool first. So let's get this working. Now we can start to really work into this. The actual Dynamesh is not working for me at the moment. It's too high resolution. So we're just going to drop this down to say 32 and just remesh. 32. There we go. This should be just a little bit easier for me to work with. In fact, we could probably even go down a bit further. Let's Dynamesh it down to 16 and remesh that. That's better. So we've got much fewer polygons. I can really begin to just rough out the area I want to work with. As a character, let's use the move tool just to bring that nose more into life. Nice big nose. There you go. Smooth down this area. Bring in the clay brush again. Just going to use the smooth tool. Okay, turn on the X-ray. transparency, and subtool. Let's bring that back on so you can see that. Just to make it a little bit easier for us to see. Okay, I've got to remember that this is a caricature, so don't need to go too detailed with anything. But it's always nice to get things something approaching correct. There we go. We're going to have to put a ball in here at some point, just to push it in this area here. I want to make a definitive jawline on this character. There we go. And we can push this in now, I think. Just move this in. We're going to use the damp standard tool next. So let's bring up the brush. Use the this one. I'm just going to use this to just turn on transparency again. Just bring in where I hope to. Where the crease lines are going to be, I think. The intensity is a little bit high on this one at the moment, so let's bring that back. And let's just use the clay tool just to bulk up the side here where we want this to go in. Bulk up this side here. Let's put nostrils under there. That's nice. And smooth out under that. Just add a little bit of a fulcrum in there, and then we can switch to this damp standard tool. This one. We can just bring in the lips. There we go. And we can start to push in where I want the eyes to go. So let's bring the mouth forward with the move brush. Just going to use the control button to just mask off the top of this. I can just bring the lips out a little bit. With the move tool. There you go. Now we can use the build up tool just to build those up. There you go. And pair of lips. Built in. And then build up the chin area. Give him a bit of a more pronounced chin. Push this in. There we go. Pop in with a dimple. We can go for an ear. Let's go. Let's push this in here. I'm going to make these into a bit more of a stylized eye socket, so I'm just going to use the move tool just to reshape these. There we go. More stylized. Better value for the characterism. Just move. Wedge that in. I'm going to bring in an eyeball. So I'm going to use the insert sphere tool here. I'm just going to insert a ball into here. Just use the move tool just to bring that ball into line. Make sure it's in the right sort of shape. I'm going to reverse that now so I can do a little bit of sculpting while it's still there. Just to go back, I'm going to bring back the clay brush, just push these and pull out these eye socket bits and just bring it in where I think the actual eye bags will be. There we go. That works quite well. Let's use the move tool, I think, just to widen those eyes. Smooth that out a little bit. Just break those out. And just push those back a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I can bring in, I can make a bigger set of frown bits. Bring those in a little bit more on the forehead. Let's bring the intensity down. Oops. And again, so use the move tool just to get these into the right sort of places. Let's just reverse that, so see if we can move these. That's better. So using the insert tool, very, very important. You can do quite a lot of good modelling. And just bring them in, and then we're just going to remerge those together. Just going to do that, I'm just going to go back to this because we have got this set quite low. If we look on our Dynamesh at 16, let's turn it back to 32, and I'm just going to put on projection on, so it'll try and keep some of this detail around where I want the actual where I want the detail to be kept, which it has done beautifully. I can just go in and start to sort of smooth those areas out, and we can begin to build a little bit more using sort of damp standard brush. We can build in a few more bits and pieces on the features. As you can see there, I'm going to carve in and carve into the top of there as well, and bring in some lines in here as well, so we could really almost get a Commander Vimes feel. I'll be careful with that. Don't want to do too much of that. It's just a trooper. Just smooth those bits out there. Yo. There we go. Okay, so we've got a face with features. Probably just need to do a little bit of manipulation and moving now, so let's just move these bits and pieces around so make it look a little bit more like our character. Bigger eyes. Smooth those bits out. Nose is a little bit too big. Maybe need to add a little bit of volume to the front of the nose, just make it a bit more. It's been a little bit broken in its time. Push into this bit here, like that bit there. Make those bits go on there. Job done. Okay, so we can get on with looking at retopologizing. One thing I will do is just quickly put on an ear, so I'll use the insert tool for that. There's no point in building a new ear when you've got one right here. Looks a bit stupid, but it won't when we finish. Let's scale it down. I'm moving this in. Rotate this round. Right. Nope. So I'm just going to invert and do a bit of cleanup on the model. Just going to push these bits in. Okay, and there. There you go. That's all done. Okay, let's connect them together. Just like remesh, reproject. I think we'll actually drop the resolution down to about 20, 24. I think we've got too much resolution on this anyway. There we go. So we can just bind these together. These have been merged, so we can just make sure that we're all nice and secure and tight down here. Just weld those, smooth those last few bits in. Very nice. And then do a little bit of reshaping just to make the ear seem a little bit more human. Something like that, I think. Just curving it round a little bit. That'll do. How does that look? I think that looks very good. Okay, so we've got our character. Let's try perspective, see what it looks like with perspective on. Yeah, it's not too bad. A few little bits and pieces maybe just need a little tweak here and there, but on the whole, let's just bring, I see one tweak that we just need to bring in straight away, which is just to pull this jawline. Didn't look right at all from that angle. Just bring that down, otherwise we're going to end up with a bit of a trouble spot. Let's just try filling some of that area in there. That's better. That's it. Job done. There we go. So we've got a 3D model of our character, so we're ready for retopologizing this as a head. One thing I am going to do is just add a body to this at some stage, but let's retopologize the head first, and then we're done.